Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hoge, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
Hi, I'm AJ Hoge. Welcome to the Effortless English Show. Go to effortlessenglishclub.com and try my VIP membership program. Hello from Japan. I'm in Japan now. I've started my Asia tour. The first stop on the tour is Japan. I'm in Kyoto right now. In fact, in our Kyoto apartment. So, hello from Japan. Let's start the show. Have you ever, stopped studying English and then had a lot of trouble getting started again? Well, I've been thinking about this topic of stopping and starting and losing your motivation, losing your energy to do something. It's a tough thing because we all get distracted. We all get busy. And sometimes we get so busy that we stop doing something that's important, such as studying English. Now, in my case, I stopped running. So I used to run not every day, but several times a week. And I was in really great shape. In fact, about 6 months ago, I was in the best shape of my life, the best fitness level of my life. I was running at the park probably 4 times a week. I was also going to the gym a couple times a week, lifting weights. I was doing push-ups and pull-ups and handstands, a whole variety of exercises. So I felt great, I felt strong, I felt powerful, I had a lot of energy. It was fantastic. And then we went to San Francisco about 6 months ago. And just the change of flying to a new city, relocating for a little while, it upset all of my routines. Plus, when we got to San Francisco, I suddenly had a lot of work to do for Effortless English. I had to record lessons and plan videos and audios. I got super busy with the business. And as a result of all of this, I broke my routine and I stopped running, stopped going to the gym, stopped all kinds of exercises except walking, in fact. Well, back in Japan now, I decided I'm gonna get fit again. Of course, I got all my major business done in San Francisco, so I'm refocused now on health and fitness. But the problem I've discovered, maybe you've discovered this with something in your life, maybe exercise or eating healthy or studying English, something. The problem is that when you stop something, it's really, really tough to get started again. Let's take a quick Twitter question and then I'll come back to this story. So, question from Twitter. Jamal asks, or actually says, I have a call center interview in a few days. How can I impress them? I'm nervous. Okay, well, this is an excellent question. Now, for a call center job, of course, English is going to be extremely important. So likely the interview will be in English. Any job interview is scary. Any job interview will naturally make you nervous. So how do you prepare for that? I've actually got a few detailed videos about job interviews and how to prepare for them on my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/AJHoge, AJHOGE. So if you want more detailed answer, go to my YouTube channel. But right now I'll give you a very quick answer for how to get ready for a job interview, especially one in English, which can be even more nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking means scary. So, what to do? The first thing is you need to think like the employer. So instead of focusing on yourself and what you want, when you go to an interview, instead think about the employer and what they want. What are they looking for? And of course, for specific jobs, that can vary. For some jobs, maybe they look for certain skills. For a call center job, they'll look for good English ability, for example, good speaking ability, good pronunciation, Probably the ability to be persuasive using English. Those are specific skills, and it depends on the job. But there are some skills and some traits, some personality traits, some characteristics that all employers are looking for. And you need to think about these when you give your answers and when you practice giving answers. Number one, they're looking for an employee who will contribute to the company. Someone with a contribution mindset. What does that mean exactly? What it means is a contribution mindset means that you are thinking about the company first. You're thinking, how can I help the company? How can I improve the company? Now, what this really means is, how can I help the company make more money? Or how can I help the company save money? Or how can I help the company save time? Those are the three big ones. Make money, save time. That basically means solving problems or coming up with new ideas. So companies are looking for employees who are going to add to the company, because too many employees have a mindset of they want to take. They don't want to contribute, which means to give. They're just looking to take. They're thinking, what can I get? I want a good paycheck. I want good benefits. I want good hours. I want. That's the mindset of a lot of employees and a lot of people who interview for jobs. I know you want a good salary and all of that. It's important, yes. But when you're in an interview, don't talk so much about that stuff. Don't be thinking about that. Instead, think, how can I help the company? How can I contribute? How can I help them make money, save time, save money? So in your answers, always include examples or ideas about how you can help the company, contribute to the company. Another thing all companies are looking for are team players. That means employees who can get along with other people. Now, to get along with, it just means to have a good relationship with other people. Sadly, a lot of employees do not have good, positive relationships with their coworkers and with their bosses. And these kind of people cause a lot of problems for companies. So companies are always looking for trouble. They're looking for people who might cause problems, people who might have negative, bad attitudes, for example. So again, in your answers in an interview, you want to show them that you can have a good relationship with other people, and that at past jobs, that you have indeed had a good relationship with your coworkers and your past bosses. Those are just two quick ideas. Go to my YouTube channel for more details. Okay, so I was talking about what happens when you stop, and the fact that when you stop doing something important, to restart is extremely difficult. And I found that this with exercise recently. Before, when I was running, it was kind of easy to keep going. I would get up in the morning, it was an easy habit to do. But now, after a 6-month break, it takes a huge amount of motivation to make myself go for a run at the park now. Restarting is very tough. For example, Monday, I restarted my running program. And I fought with myself in the morning, like, okay, come on, I'm going to finally go running. And then I had these other thoughts in my mind. No, AJ, take it easy. Just relax. You can start tomorrow. And then the other voice in my head, no, you need to start now. You've been lazy. Come on, get going. And so I had this fight in my head. Oh, relax, AJ. And like the little devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. Well, it's sort of the same idea. These two voices, the lazy voice and the disciplined voice. And finally, after lots of arguing in my head, I convinced myself to go for a run. And that was it, right? No, that was not it. Because when I actually put the shoes on and went out the door, it felt terrible, horrible. My body felt heavy and weak and tired. So I started jogging along really slowly, and my legs just immediately felt weak and tired. And then I started sweating right away, and my whole body felt like it had no energy. Like every step was a struggle. I was plodding along. To plod means to just go very slowly. I felt like this big, heavy, slow, weakly. So every step took effort. And again, the voice kicked in, the little devil voice said, oh, just stop, just walk. And then, of course, the disciplined voice says, no, keep going, keep going. And so the entire 35 minutes that I was jogging was this struggle again in my head. You can stop now, stop now. No, keep going, keep going. So it was a horrible, tough effort. It was painful and tiring and no fun at all. The entire run. Horrible. The next day, I went for another run. Again, painful. Even worse, because I woke up the next day with sore muscles. My legs hurt. Just from that simple little jog, my legs hurt. So the next day, it was even tougher to go for another run. Because I was still tired, I was still weak, I was still feeling lazy. And in addition, my muscles hurt. I was sore. Somehow I forced myself to do it. And then again the next day on Wednesday. And then finally today, Friday, I went out for another run this morning and I felt a little better. Right? It wasn't quite as tough to make myself do it. And as I started running, I noticed at the beginning, oh, I don't feel quite so heavy and tired. I feel a little lighter on my feet. This feels a little easier. And after about 10 minutes, instead of wanting to stop, I wanted to continue. Started getting a little bit of that good feeling again from running. It was still a little bit tough, but much easier. Finally, I started getting some momentum. We'll talk more about this idea of momentum in a minute, and inertia. First, let's take our second Twitter question. From Twitter, Saba Farad asks, says, I get irritated listening to the same lesson repeatedly. What can I do about this? It's a good question. It's a common question. People ask me this all of the time. I always tell you that you need to repeat your audios many times, that you need to repeat the Effortless English lessons many times. Some people do that easily, no problem. Others, they get frustrated or they get bored sometimes. But this is necessary, so you need to change your mindset, change your thinking about this, your psychology, so that you begin to enjoy the repetition. Let me give you an example from the sports world. Golf. Think of any professional golfer. Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, whoever. Golfers must practice the same thing every day, sometimes 500 or even 1,000 times a day, doing exactly the same thing. Tons of repetition. What is it they practice? They practice this basic swing, the basic golf swing. That's it. Just, back, hit the ball, forward. That's it. They work on that one simple movement, that one simple skill, hundreds of times every day. I remember reading an article in the past about Tiger Woods, and I think he said daily he practiced his swing 500 to 1,000 times every day. He practiced in the morning, and then he took a break, and then he practiced again in the afternoon. Now that is repetition, okay? 500 times or more daily of one simple movement. So how does Tiger Woods do that without getting bored? How does any professional golfer do that every day without getting frustrated or bored? Well, it's all about their mindset. It's all about their focus. That's the key. When a golfer, a professional, is practicing their swing, they're not just doing it mindlessly, again and again, oh, I'm bored, but I'll keep doing it. That's not their thinking. They are concentrating deeply so that when they're swinging, they're aware of how their body is moving. They're aware of their feet. They're aware of their legs. They're aware and concentrating on how their hips are moving, how their shoulders are moving, the grip, how they're grabbing the club, the angle of the swing. They're aware of what they're looking at the target, looking at the ball. They're aware of how their body turns as they hit the ball. They're aware of how the club actually hits the ball. Is it hitting it this way or flat? They're aware of all of these things, and they're constantly trying to improve all these little tiny pieces of their swing. A non-golfer looks at a swing and thinks, oh, that's very simple. Boom, hit the ball, no big deal. But a professional golfer realizes that it is a very precise and complex movement. And they're constantly focusing on all the little pieces of it. And most importantly, they're focusing on how to improve each little piece. A professional golfer might work months on just the way they grab the club, the grip. They'll practice with the finger like this, like this. They'll practice all different kinds of grips and be very careful focusing on the grip to find the grip that is perfect for them, that works the best for them. And the same is true of the way their arms move and hips move and legs, all of those pieces. And then they bring in coaches to help them perfect each little piece of the swing. That's the mindset you need when listening to English lessons. Effortless English lessons, any lessons, or any audio at all. You're not just listening, passively, kind of half concentrating. You need to be concentrating like a professional golfer, listening very carefully to the speaker's pronunciation, noticing the grammar changes as they say different verbs, for example. Trying to improve the speed of your understanding, noticing when you're not understanding, noticing what's difficult for you and what's easy. There are 100 different things you can focus on while listening to the same audio. So one day you might focus on the speaker's pronunciation that you're listening to. And another day you might pay very close attention to the grammar. Not thinking about grammar rules, but just noticing how the verbs are changing, noticing the phrases. By focusing carefully with a mindset of constant improvement, you'll overcome that feeling of frustration or boredom. You'll start to become like a golfer, like a professional English learner. All right, that's our second Twitter question. Let's go back finally to this idea. I mentioned the idea of inertia or momentum. When you stop something, then you try to restart it, it's really tough. And the reason for that is inertia. Inertia is originally a word that comes from science, from physics. For you scientists out there, for physics students, you might remember Physics 101. Inertia means that, or states, the law of inertia, is just that an object at rest, an object that's not moving, will stay at rest. It will not move. Unless something hits it or pushes it or does something to it, if something's not moving, it will continue not moving. The second part of this law of inertia is that if an object is moving, that it will continue moving. It will continue moving unless something stops it or acts on it. But if nothing happens, it'll just continue moving forever. For example, out in space, if we have a rocket and we shoot the rocket in space, if it doesn't hit anything, it'll just keep going forever. Just continues moving forever. Or if you have a rocket or a rock or an asteroid, something in space, it's not moving, then it'll just stay stopped. It will not move unless something hits it or pushes it. So that's a physical law, but it turns out, in fact, this is also a psychological law. It works psychologically too. What that means is that we ourselves, our thinking, our bodies, our minds, tend to stay still if we're not moving. In other words, if we become lazy, then we will tend to continue being lazy. If we're not studying English every day, then the next day we probably won't study it again. Unless we do something to motivate ourselves, to give us some extra motivation, to push ourselves, we'll just continue not doing it. So if you stop studying English, if you stop exercising, that's why it's so much harder to start again, because now that you're stopped, your body and your mind just want to stay still. They don't want to move. So to get them moving requires extra effort, extra force. If you're already moving, if you're exercising daily, then the next day, let's say you've been exercising every day for a month. You wake up tomorrow, it's quite easy to go exercise again. You've been moving, you've been doing it every day. So to do it again the next day, it's quite easy. Your mind naturally wants to just keep going in that direction. Continue doing this habit. But if you're like me and you take a break for 6 months and then you want to get up and go for a run, oh, then it's tough. You've been sitting still, not exercising all that time. To get started again, it's really tough. Another way to think about this, imagine a big rock, a boulder, a huge rock. Now, if you want to move that, you want to push it and move it. In the beginning, it's really, really hard, right? Just imagine it's perfectly round. Now, it's really heavy. So to get it started, to get it moving, it takes a huge amount of effort. You're sweating, your muscles are shaking, right? Just to get it started takes a huge effort. However, once it starts rolling, once it's moving, it's actually much easier to keep it going. Then if you just keep pushing it a little bit, sometimes it'll continue rolling. It's much easier to keep it going after it's started. This works psychologically too for your English. If you stop studying English every day, if you stop listening to English every day because you get busy for any reason at all, it's going to be much tougher to restart. So let me give you a little advice about this. Life happens. Things happen in life. You will get busy. Maybe you get busy with school. Maybe you get busy with your family. Maybe something happens at work, and you just can't spend a lot of time listening to English every day. That happens. It happens to me. It happens to everybody. We all get busy and distracted sometimes. But here's just a little tip, a little advice to help you keep going and improving your English. Don't stop completely. Instead, just do less. It's much better, for example, just to listen to English for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes in one day, than not at all. The problem is, see, your brain's going to tell you, oh, 5 minutes is nothing, it won't help, so I should do nothing at all. I just won't do anything today. But if you do nothing, right, then it's like that big rock stopping. And so if you want to start again, you're going to have to, But if you just do 5 minutes, psychologically, it's like the rock is still moving. Just that little 5 minutes a day keeps the rock moving. It keeps your mind connected to English so that when you have more time later, it'll be very easy for you to just do more. You can increase it again to 1 hour or 2 hours every day. So that's my main advice for you today, is that anytime you get busy, it happens, don't worry about it, but just don't stop completely. It's okay to reduce your English learning time even down to 5 minutes a day, but do at least 5 minutes a day just to keep the habit moving, just to keep yourself going. It'll be so much easier to restart later if you just do that little bit daily. Keep the habit going. That's my best advice for you. All right, it's time for the Effortless English News. First piece of Effortless English News, my book. The book is almost finished. Well, I've finished writing the book. We have almost finished designing the book. It will be available in the next 8 weeks. Probably less. Hopefully sometime in October, but around 8 weeks from now, my book, Effortless English, will be the title. Effortless English by A.J. Hoge. It will be available on Apple. It will be available on Kobo and on Amazon, all as electronic books. You also will be able to buy it as a paperback through Amazon, a physical book you can hold. And in Vietnam, we're publishing it through a Vietnam publisher. So the book will be available in bookstores in Vietnam and around the world. I'll give you more information when the book is completely ready. There will be an audiobook also. You know that Effortless English is an audio system, a listening system. So we're making a website now where you will buy the audiobook so you can listen to the audios as you read. Improve your English while reading and listening to the book. Second piece of Effortless English news, my tour of Asia. I'm in Japan now, preparing for it. Next month in October, I will be doing a series of events in Vietnam. Right now we have 7 events planned, so a lot of them. I will be both in Hanoi and in Ho Chi Minh City. I'll arrive in Hanoi. The first Hanoi event will be October 14th. These are short events, maybe a couple hours long. So October 14th in Hanoi, and then a few more. I'll give you more information when I know. And then we'll go down to Ho Chi Minh City in the south of Vietnam and do a few events down there. Finally, going to South Vietnam. Also, I'm going to do an event in Bangkok, Thailand on December 13th. I will have more information about registration and about the event in general in Bangkok coming soon. For now, from Kyoto, Japan, bye. Focus on improving your English. Focus on keeping yourself going. Keep that rock moving even when you get tired, even when you get distracted, even when you get busy. Keep the rock moving. Go to effortlessenglishclub.com and try my VIP program for just $1. See you next time. Bye for now.